What's going on, guys? Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Two videos in one day. If you didn't watch my noon live, make sure you go check that out. I'll put a link as the pinned comment on this one. It was talking about the underground network on Meta. I would definitely suggest you go look at that. A lot of information there. I've said this since day one of Joe Biden in his presidential role. Is his main mission absolutely is to ban ARs, okay, what they call assault weapons. And he plans to do that or wants to do that before the end of his term. And you can look over Joe Biden's complete career as a politician, and he's done only one thing, and that is to strip rights away from Americans. That's all he's ever done. I don't know if you can name one thing that he's ever done in his career that's something that benefited Americans. It's always been to strip rights away from Americans, right? All other agendas he's pushing is just cherries on top to trying to ban the sporting rifle, okay? Now, you guys probably know this lady here. You probably heard of her, Dianne Feinstein. Yeah. She's the lady that apparently in California that is so gone mentally that she has aides that pretty much tell her she's ran by people, and all the agenda she's pushing is other people. Hence why she's the one that pushed for the assault weapons ban of 2019, right? And she also submitted one of January of this year. Okay. I'll throw it on the screen here. She also pushed this one. Okay. Let me remove her photo. But this is one. Now, this one hadn't got really any movement, nowhere as of yet. But because this one hadn't really moved, this is the S25 right here, assault weapons ban. This is prohibition does not apply to a firearm that is manually operated by a bolt, pump, lever, or slide action, except for certain shotguns and stuff like that. So obviously the importation, sale, manufacture, transfer, and possession, other than law enforcement's, this and that, you know the deal. Okay. But now they're trying a new technique because obviously the House is ton of, Republican ran, but they're trying something called a discharge petition. Essentially, this is a means of bringing a bill out of the committee to the floor for consideration without a report from the committee by a quote unquote discharging the committee from further consideration of the bill or resolution. Bills come from committees in the party, and the majority, who can stack committees and set agendas, can largely control what comes out of the committee and resultantly what lives to see a vote on the House floor. And again, since the House is being controlled by the Republicans, it's going to be very hard to try to get a assault weapons ban in place. Okay, Scott, thank you, sir, for that. But it's very hard for them to try to get assault weapons banned. So they're going to try this discharge petition route. Now, one key thing about this, and you have to understand, is that even though the House is majority Republican, there's a ton of rhinos. I think we have more rhinos in office at this moment than probably in previous history. So during the discharge petition, all they need to do is flip some of the rhinos over to vote with the Democrats to try to get the ban. Okay, so Congresswoman Johanna Hayes from Connecticut, the deputy whip of the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force, actually signed 3 discharge petitions. And these are to force a vote on common sense gun violence and prevention measures, okay, is what they're saying. I'll throw her discharge petition here. And so we have bipartisan background check, assault weapons, bipartisan background check, enhanced background check, and the assault weapons ban. So you can see that's what she's pushing in this. Okay, so let's go through these one by one. So number one, the assault weapons ban. This bill will make it a crime to knowingly import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon or a large capacity ammunition feeding device. Okay, so that is the number one on there. Now, this means that it would probably be grandfathered in that you could keep the ones you own, but I mean, who wants that, right? You won't be able to get any more, but you could potentially keep the ones you own, but they hadn't specified that, so they could try to actually, put that in there. But the other big thing is that if you die, then that means your firearm cannot be transferred to your next of kin. It have to be turned in, destroyed, what have you. So that's number one, not good, right? Number two is Enhanced Background Check Act. This increases the amount of time from 3 business days to a 10 minimum business days that a federal firearms licensee, FFL, must wait to receive a completed background check prior to transferring a firearm to an unlicensed person. This is the type of transaction is often referred to as a default proceed and transaction. And what that means, if you don't know, is that people, if you go buy a firearm and you don't have a concealed weapons permit, because if you have a concealed weapons permit, you just pretty much take the gun that day. But let's say you don't have one, you go buy a firearm, and your background check is taken, is not approved within a few minutes. So you could be that you share the same name with a bunch of felons, maybe the same date of birth, and they're having to look. Maybe it's a holiday; they don't have many people on staff at NICS to do the background check. And after 3 days, that firearm dealer, that FFL dealer, he can make the decision to give you the firearm because they never got back to you. But now this extends it to 10 business days, right? So that gives NICS more time to check your background and try to deny you, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to deny you. I don't remember anything in the Second Amendment about a background check. Maybe you leave me a comment if you saw something about that, right? But so that's what they're trying to do, right? Again, removing rights from the citizen. Now, number 3 is the Bipartisan Background Checks Act. This prohibits a firearm transfer between private parties unless a licensed gun dealer, manufacturer, importer first takes possession of the firearm to conduct a background check. Now, this one completely sucks, and some states already have this. But essentially, like in my state, let's say we go meet, put an ad on the various gun dealer websites. You hit me up, email, hey, I'll meet you down at Jimmy's gas station. We go meet, and I sell you the firearm right there, right? That's how I would take the Second Amendment to be. I wouldn't think I'd have to go to an FFL and we'd have to trade it off and pay, the $35 fee, because that's all they're doing is the money making scheme. They're thinking, how much more money can we make by doing this? But again, this is something that is removing rights, putting more layers and more just unnecessary things that you have to do, procedures to get a firearm, right? And let's just take a look back, because I always like to do that and break down, because some conservatives, I talk to some guys that say they're conservatives all the time. They're like, oh, I don't mind that. We need to do that. The kids are getting shot up in the school. That's what they say. They believe the narratives being fed. Obviously, these tragic things happen, but they use these to fuel and make way to take your rights away. Okay, because they don't care about the kids, because they put armed officers in every school, right? They'd have firearms on every teacher if they cared, but they don't. They want to strip your rights. They don't want you to be able to defend yourself. And you may not believe me, but let me show you that that's true. So actually, there's a Chairman Pete Shields advocated openly for prohibition of civilian possession of handguns in 1976. Okay, you can look this up. Shields told the New Yorker, the final problem is to make possession of all handguns and all handgun ammunition, except for the military, police, and licensed security guards, totally illegal, right? So then he went on to add, listen to this. After the handgun, the criminal's next weapon of choice is the knife, ... What does that sound like to you? That sounds to me like, because criminals are using handguns, we'll take those away. But then, guys, let's not forget about the knife, because they'll pick up a knife next. You've seen in China, I'm sure you've seen the clip that was circulating around, where to get a kitchen knife, you had to go put you had to go to essentially like a FFL for a kitchen knife, and they engrave the individual's like QR code, which is like their slavery code in China. So if that knife is used in a crime, it's linked back to you, right? So right after they take firearms, it'll be knives, be baseball bat, it'll be anything that you can defend yourself with. You know, you can look around the world as an example. You look at Australia as an example, Europe, right, where you can't have a locking knife. You can't even have one on your person unless you're doing something that warrants you carrying a knife. In Australia, the law says you can't carry, possess, or use a weapon, including guns, knives, and other weapons. Listen to me now, other weapons and dangerous articles to hurt people or to defend yourself. Pay attention, to defend yourself. You can't use a knife, a baseball bat, a freaking lamp to defend yourself. You're walking around as a victim, okay? You can't even defend yourself with a knife, a baseball bat, a club, right? You ever, and we're going to get into this, but you ever look at the martial arts? Look at Japanese martial arts. Why? You've seen the size like Raphael, the Ninja Turtles Raphael used, the bow staff Donatello used, the nunchucks Michelangelo used. These things are all farming implements because they also got their weapons taken, their swords. So they had to go to using farming implements to defend themselves. They were making them slaves. And so they were training, right? You ever seen the martial art capoeira where the slaves learned to fight through dance because they were not allowed to train in martial arts? This is the type of stuff that happened throughout history, guys. This isn't just something that happened today. We got to stop the process from being repeated. Okay, giving up any right is a pathway to slavery. Listen to me. Any right you give up is a pathway that you're taking a step forward into slavery. But the populace, like you see here in America, we've seen this since 2020, that they've been tricked in that you get some kind of moral high ground to give up your rights, that you are more intelligent, right? And they feed off these people's superiority complexes, these egos. It's easy to do, and this is a social engineering technique I used to talk about in the very old videos from 8-10 years ago in my urban survival videos. I would teach these things about how you trick people into giving up information and do things for you by exploiting their ego. And you see these little kids posting the pride flag or whatever the new thing, the Ukraine, whatever it is this week, because I'm more morally superior, I'm more intelligent than the hillbillies. The hillbillies wearing the MAGA hats. I'm more intelligent than them, right? You're appealing to their ego. They're morons that giving up their rights freely, right? And the news every day is publicizing and using whatever tragedy to reinforce these people's egos for their superiority complexes. Talking about the martial arts, I actually came across this other day. I was going through some of my old stuff and I came across this ninja star right here, right? I've had this ninja star. I had more of them. This is the only one left. And this is a legit ninja star. This is back from my martial art days when I was a little kid. And like I said, I've had this forever. This isn't like one of them cheap fake ones. This is actually sharp. Like, you don't let kids play with these things, right? Or supervised at the very minimum. But they literally are illegal in some states. This ninja stars are literally illegal in some states to this day. I'm talking about right now. You get caught, I think California, Illinois, you get caught with a ninja star, you're going to jail for this, right? And you may ask why. Why would this ninja star be illegal? Well, because they actually became illegal in the 80s because of the ninja movies, believe it or not. Congress used the ninja movies to scare the public for the lethality of these ninja stars. And it's not even true. You're not going to do anything but piss somebody off by throwing this at them. It may hurt them. You know, I mean, it's sharp. You're gonna get stuck, but you're not gonna get any kind of serious injury from this unless you get hit in the eye. Maybe you might cut your finger trying to throw it, but they literally ban these to this day in some states because of freaking 80s ninja movies. Because they said all these things are so dangerous. You've seen the ninja movies, right? American Ninja. What's his name? Michael Dudikoff or whatever. Yeah, they banned these. So how corny is that? But that's what politicians use. They use whatever they can to scare the public or appeal to their ego for you to give up your rights. I want to know your thoughts, guys. I mean, it's just we're going to keep an eye on this, and let's be very aware. There's a list actually out, and you can put in this here. There's a bunch of politicians, maybe from your area, your state, that's already kind of going with this. Another thing is that they're going to get rhinos in there. I mean, I looked at South Carolina. Now this guy's a Democrat, James Clyburn, but he's already on board with it. But go look at who's in your area. You need to make sure of these things. These are the type of things that goes unnoticed, and then you wind up voting for somebody with an R by their name, and they just screwed you out of your rights, and they're putting you into slavery. Okay. HE, thanks, man. He says Mexican cartels have a plethora of assault weapons. Yeah, they do, brother. Again, Robert Knight, thanks for the sticker. Scott, thank you, guys. Appreciate all you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I want to hear it. And this is very serious. And if you're from another country where you can't carry around a freaking pocket knife, let us know. Let us know how much you walk around feel like a victim. You walk around like prey. That's how they want. We're Americans. We're different. We're not gonna tolerate this. Okay. We need to keep our eye on this. Find out who these people are if they're in your state that are voting with this discharge petition. Anyhow, guys, please leave a comment. Go watch my other video. I'm going to put a pinned comment. It probably was shadow banned like all my other videos are. I'm getting so sick of this nonsense. So please go do that. Comment, like, share all those sort of things. Remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and we got to stay dangerous. Take care.